There's a curious fact about Japan's capital, Tokyo. Many of its residents live below sea and river levels. At high tide, the water level is this high. The eastern part of Tokyo is called the Eastern Lowlands. Not only is it low-lying to begin with, but the ground here is sinking due to drawing of groundwater and the like. This puts the area in danger from storm surges and flooding. In a storm surge, an approaching typhoon brings low air pressure, weakening the air pressure on the ocean surface, causing the sea to rise. Moreover, as the typhoon's winds blow seawater inland, they also push the sea level higher than usual. And when storm surges raise the sea level, the rivers also rise where they meet the sea. Regions such as these are vulnerable not only to floods, but also to inundation from storm surges. This is how the area looked in October 2017 when Typhoon Lan struck. For the first time in 38 years, a storm surge warning was issued. The Sumida River swelled with the storm surge. This water level was comparable to the storm surge when Typhoon Kitty struck in 1949, flooding 130,000 homes. But this time, flood damage from storm surge was prevented. This fortunate outcome was the result of measures taken by the Tokyo metropolitan government to prepare for storm surges, typhoons, and tsunamis. For example, first, seawalls on riverbanks. These were built strong enough to withstand a storm surge on the level of Typhoon Vera in 1959, the most damaging in Japan's history. Super levees were built on major rivers such as the Nakagawa and the Sumida, with improved earthquake resistance and people-friendly riverside design. Installations such as these prevented storm surges from inundating the city. Second, the Tokyo metropolitan government installed floodgates at the confluences of rivers and sea in the interior of the Koto area. The floodgates are closed during storm surges, preventing the tidewaters from pouring into the city. The lowest lying area of the Eastern Lowlands is the Koto Triangle. In the past, as the ground subsided, river dikes were repeatedly erected here to prevent flood damage. Unfortunately, this practice weakened the ground's resistance to earthquakes. To address this problem, the Tokyo metropolitan government divided the area into two zones, east and west, based on ground height and river use, and carried out improvements appropriate to each zone. On the rivers of the west side, where the ground is higher, the raised river dikes were reinforced. On the rivers of the east side, where the ground is lower, the rivers were shut off by floodgates, the water level was artificially reduced, and people-friendly riverside designs were implemented. To ensure that ships could continue to ply the rivers, the east-west disparity in water level had to be eliminated. For this purpose, a lock gate consisting of two floodgates was installed. When a ship passing through the lock gate enters the space between the two floodgates, called the lock chamber, the water level is automatically adjusted to enable the ship to pass through. This is the system used in the Panama Canal. Today, mindful of the lessons of the Great East Japan Earthquake of 2011, the Tokyo metropolitan government is reinforcing embankments and floodgates against earthquakes and water disasters to prepare for an earthquake of the highest intensity. We are protecting the people living in the Eastern Lowlands from storm surges and tsunamis caused by earthquakes.